And welcome back to In the Can here at the Sundance Film Festival 2011. We're talking with filmmaker Mark Pellington, and we have a couple of actors you may have seen before, Rob Lowe and Jeremy Piven. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Guys, this film messed me up. It did, and we were just talking about that. Yeah, score. The film, of course, is I Melt With You, and it's playing here at the Sundance Film Festival. And it's a film about guys of a certain age. In fact, it kind of made me laugh as I was watching it, where your names come up in age 44. I'm 44.
Yes.
I started crying uncontrollably right from the very beginning. But Mark, this is an interesting film. It's a lot of things, and a lot of it we can't really talk about. But what gave you the idea? I know that a really good friend of yours wrote.
Yeah, my very dear friend Glenn Porter had written this script that inspired me, and I was just, you know, it's very tough to get movies made in Hollywood, even small indie movies, and I was looking to do something kind of very visceral and very personal, and this script spoke to me, and was just looking to do something very lean and mean and down and dirty, and kind of formulated this script to do in 18 days, which is great because it's not like a huge commitment from actors of like 6 months or something like that, and very raw, character-driven, you know, drama thriller, and was able to land a great cast. And just, we went with a whole punk rock spirit of, let's just do it, let's get some bread, let's go up to Big Sur and shoot it, and shot with very lightweight Canon 5D cameras, had 4 of them rolling. So it was very much of a, you know, kind of an experiential process
In a
where
lot of ways.
it allowed the, exactly, but it allowed the actors a chance to just be and do and take risks and you know, go through that experience.
And you guys, I mean, Thomas Jane also, and McKay as well. I mean, the 4 of you, you play college buddies who every year for 25 years you always just kind of reconnect and see where you're at and things like that. 25 years down the road, there was such a camaraderie between you. Did you spend any time together? I mean, did you know each other a lot before the shoot, or?
It's weird. I feel like I've known Rob my whole life, and there was this kind of kindred spirit that, and you know, it's all put together by Mark. My hesitation was that Rob was too good looking.
Yeah.
And that was a variable that wasn't
it's an
right
objective
for me.
fact.
Are
you kidding?
Right now, I went to him and I was like, we got to dirty this kid up. I don't want to be in the same frame. Am I right? You know, I was a little
There
bit.
actually are no 2 shots of Jeremy and I. He had it in his contract.
Yes. I would.
You know what?
no
I'm
two
trying to
shots
think
of us
back if you
together.
guys were actually in a
Not
scene
actually,
together.
no.
I wanted Rob Lowe in
No.
a ditch. I want him shorter. I want him uglier.
He actually negotiated to do the whole movie in a green screen.
Yes.
In his Entourage jacuzzi trailer, but we drew the line.
Entourage jacuzzi trailer.
That's why you were in Pisa. That was
He
trying
was
to
in a
figure that one
celebrity
out.
space shuttle the entire shoot and never came down. This movie is The Big Chill meets Apocalypse Now.
No, it actually
right?
is. That's exactly what it is.
Well, it made my head explode. I mean,
Good.
but the idea though is I believed 25 years of friendship here, and it was just a remarkable way that you guys can, and some of the simple things too. And I want to talk about kind of what you did as a director, because a lot of it just looks so organic. You know, just the coming up and hugging a guy.
Yeah.
Not a word saying, you know, that kind of thing too. How much of it did you direct? How much, you know, trust did you put into your
I mean, you're
actors?
tapping into, we're all, you know, from the same generation,
Right.
basically, and when the guys read the script, they get what it's about. They know what brotherhood and camaraderie and promises and honor are. You know, they went to college, they had college friends. Everybody's had those kind of experiences and those bonds that run really deep. So when somebody comes in and gives a hug, that's just natural behavior. You know, it's like, okay, Rob, come in. You know, it's like, I mean, it's all authentic. The authenticity of it is based on that the guys imbued the characters with their own selves, and then when the movie takes, you know, allegorically and metaphorically a very, very dark turn, that's where they could allow themselves to come out in different ways, because everybody's kind of got this big demon that they have to face in the film, and you don't overly talk about it when you cast guys of this caliber and Tom Jane and Christian McKay. You know, it's on the page. You talk about it, make sure the text is good, but you let them act. And of course, then when they need some guidance or need a little push or need a little hug, you're there to do it. But I mean, they do their thing, and I just have to make sure the camera's in the right place.
I get the idea though that, and as watching your performances, and I have to say, I saw new things from everybody. And I've been following all 4 of you actors for a long, long time. I'm, you know, since the good old days type of thing. That looked exhausting.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the performances you put out, and you did get dirtied up. Rob.
Yeah, I mean,
You weren't pretty in every scene, I hate to tell you.
this is, and I demand that. I have to be that way. Look, it's really rare in today's movie-making climate to be a part of a movie that literally is unlike anything you've ever seen before. That's amazing anytime, but in today's world, it's really extraordinary. And the only way you can do it is to do it cheap, do it quick, and do it with great people. And that's what we did. And for me, it was an opportunity to go to a place as an actor that not only do I not get to go very often, but to be totally honest, I didn't know if I could go. I mean, I get offered a lot of parts that are sort of in my wheelhouse, and I know how to do that, and it's all good. So when something comes my way where I dig, and I don't know if I can hit the pay dirt, that's really the best.
But that is so apparent, though, and Jeremy, your character as well. This is not typical Jeremy Piven either. The fear really came through because the characters were going through such a change and trying to come to grips with a promise they made and trying to be, the honor side of it too. Your big scene about we're not the same guys that we were 25 years ago, yet still that matters, that kind of thing. As 40-something men, I mean, how much of your own experience did you draw from to get there? Because you obviously got there.
Well, it's interesting. This movie is not for everyone, and it certainly isn't for anyone who doesn't want to face who they are. And that may sound a little pretentious, but that's part of what this movie is about. So, and that's part of the reason why we made this movie. There's nothing about this experience where people will be on the fence, I believe. They're either going to really dig it or hate it. And I read the script and I got to a certain scene that you were alluding to that I can't say, but I just kind of dropped the script and I got pretty emotional, and there wasn't a question for me, am I going to do it or not? It's like, well, I have to do this. Yeah. And that's why we're actors. I mean, can you go to that place?
When you go off a cliff, you're going to land.
Yeah. You got to go to the end of the river. And it was, to me, almost like emotional root canal. Like I knew yeah, exactly. And you just you take your medicine.
Colonoscopy.
Yeah, all of the above. And I wanted to do it, get into the belly of the beast, and then sage myself off and go away. But it needed to be done, and I'm glad we did it.
All right. Well, I'm with you. We've got a clip. Let's take a quick look at it. Give people an idea of what we're talking about. Here you go.
The body fights, in spite of what the brain wants.
It's a quick clip.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's all we shot.
Some of your best work.
18 days.
Yeah, the rest
Man,
of it
every
was
frame
just,
is there.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It's all up on the screen.
It does beg a question, though. You do have a music video background. By the way, the music, I need this. I realized I needed the soundtrack, then I went to my iPod and realized I have it already.
Exactly.
Anytime you can put
there.
you can put Love and Rockets and Grandmaster Flash in the same film.
By the way,
That's-
to buy the music to put in this movie will cost more than to buy the movie or make it.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh, for sure.
Well, seriously, I mean, even just the you had some film clips of some
John Lydon on the Tomorrow Show with Tom Snyder,
Right.
and The Challenger. Yeah, I mean, there's all the music in those clips are. I mean, they're cultural reference points, and the Sex Pistols changed my life. So I was like, okay, what is the first song? What is punk rock leading into then post-punk and new wave did a certain thing for me.
Right.
And that's what defined my 20s. So, and then as the music goes, there's some songs from like the late 80s and even early 90s, but it was all kind of designed to evolve or devolve as the characters were kind of going down the rabbit hole.
But what a great foundation to set to get to know you guys. I mean, to where you came from. You all love the same music. You all love the same booze and the same drugs and the same women. And but you're all dealing with very unique demons that none of you can understand what's going on with the other person. And you all that just converges into something that I thought was just meaningful and scared the living.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie that it has people talking. I mean, our big screening is tonight.
Yep.
I cannot wait to see this with this kind of crowd.
You're going to do a Q&A?
Yeah.
Wear Kevlar.
I was just going to say. Wow.
Yeah,
the Q&A.
But
you know whether somebody would be bold enough as to, I actually would despite my size, I'm not a confrontational person.
Right.
You know, and it's you have to believe. You know, it's like, okay, there's good press, there's bad press. I didn't expect such divisiveness for this, but you know, somebody can hide behind a blog. I'd want to look at somebody's eyes and be like, all right, where are you at with your sense of your fear of mortality? Like where, because it's all subjective. So somebody's coming from it, and if they really love it and see what we're trying to do, or don't respond to it, it's because it's an energy that's out there that somebody's just like, ooh, I'm uncomfortable with that.
Yeah.
I don't like feeling that. I don't like the way it made me feel. And so it can be held in the trappings of, you know, like, oh, well, it was this, or the music was too loud, or I say turn the shit up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, let's go.
We talked about this. Wait 30 years. We'll talk to them in 30 years, right? When they're not 15 anymore.
Everything's safe. Everything's safe and engineered these days, and we just tried to take something that was a little unsafe and spontaneous.
Well, it's gonna make a hit. I'm really excited to see what the reaction is tonight. I'll melt with you, Rob, Jeremy, Mark. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more in the can after this. Stay tuned.
Right on.